All right, for part of our reading today, we're going to be reviewing figurative language. So, as we've been going through like our reading things these past few days, it often asks us what literary device. Yes.
Hey there, could you send Ray Lynn to the office for just a quick moment, please?
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Sure. You remember literary device is the same thing as figurative language, okay? So simile, metaphor, onomatopoeia, personification, alliteration, hyperbole, and idiom. Those are going to be the ones that we review as we go through these slides. All right. So, simile. A simile is a comparison of two things using the words like or as. She was as angry as a hornet defending its hive. All right, let's decide which one of these is the correct simile. Is it A, my dog is a pig when he eats? B, my dog eats like a pig? C, my dog devours donuts? Or D, my dog eats a ton of food each day? So do you think it's A, B, C, or D? A, B, C, or D? Remember, a simile uses what words? Either like or as to compare two things. Does one of those use like or as to compare two things? Is it A?
No.
Is it B?
Yes.
Maybe so. Is it C?
No.
D? Okay, so you think that it is B? Were you correct? Yes. All right, now a metaphor is a direct comparison of two things, but a metaphor does not use like or as to compare those two things. He is a bear. So they're comparing him to what? A bear. He is a bear when he wakes up in the morning. Can any of you relate?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe.
All right, let's see if we can figure out which one is the metaphor. A, my parents think my little sister is an angel. B, I think my little sister is as devious as a fox. C, she has my parents snowballed. D, my silly sister Sally is 6. Do you think you know which one is the metaphor that's comparing two things, but it doesn't use like or as? Metaphors are a little trickier to find. Is anything being compared in this first one? My parents think my little sister is an angel. Some of you are saying no. Some of you are saying yes. What are you thinking, Jenny?
In between.
What's that?
In between.
Okay. What do you think is being compared, maybe?
The angel part and the little sister.
Okay. Is anything being compared here? I think my little sister is as devious as a fox. Yeah, they're comparing, but remember sometimes there's always a big but in the way? They are using as. So that makes this one a
No.
simile. That's not a metaphor, is it? She has my parents snowballed.
I don't even know what that means.
That's a different kind of figurative language. So that's not it. What about this one? My silly sister Sally is 6. That's alliteration.
Yeah.
So, which one is the metaphor then?
A.
A. This little sister is being compared to an angel. All right. Onomatopoeia. That's like what we have on our board back there. Onomatopoeia is a word that sounds like the sound it names. The kettle began to screech when the water started to boil. The mosquito buzzed in people's ears. The pop can, or the pop fizzed when the can was open. All right, let's look at, there we go. All right, let's see if we can figure out which sentence is using onomatopoeia. When we awoke, a storm greeted us. Is that using a word to describe a sound? I'm not sure. What about B? The thunder should be sounded like a freight train barreling toward us. C, thunder boomed all around us. D, it is raining cats and dogs outside. A, B, C, D. Ooh, everybody has chosen C. Are you showing me C? Let's see if you're correct. Yes. What word is the onomatopoeia here? Everybody.
Boom.
Boomed. Good job. All right, now alliteration is when words that start with the same sound are closely connected in a sentence. Please plan to be present at Paul's pirate party. What do a lot of those words begin with, everybody?
P.
Yeah, that P sound, right? I think this one will be easy. The flowers in the garden are begging for my attention. My grandma has a green thumb. Ryan gives Rachel red roses regularly. The garden is a rainbow of colors. Which one is alliteration? Not going to do you any good to look to see what somebody beside you is choosing, is it? You're not going to be able to use their answers when you're working on this by yourself. All right. So you guys are thinking C again. Let's talk about some of these others really quickly. The garden is a rainbow of colors. That's one of the figurative languages we have talked about on slides before this one. Do you know which one it would be? Is it a metaphor? Is it a simile? Is it onomatopoeia? It's not alliteration. So metaphor, simile, or onomatopoeia. The rainbow is a garden of colors. Or is the rainbow? The garden is a rainbow of colors. What do you think, Connor?
Idiom?
We haven't talked about idioms yet. What do you think?
I think it is. What was the one we did after simile? I had it in my mind.
Metaphor?
Yeah.
You think it's a metaphor? Because it's comparing? What's it comparing in this example? Natalia?
A garden and rainbow.
Right. It is a metaphor. You are correct. Okay. All right, so you think C. Were you correct for alliteration?
Yeah.
So alliteration is when words start, a lot of the words start with the same sound. So in this case, it was a lot of R's. Okay, personification. Personification is when an object is given human qualities. Suddenly, the kite decided that it wanted its freedom, and it tried to break free from the boy's clenched fists. Does a kite make those decisions on its own? No, not at all. Let's take a look at some examples. My brother is a library of information. It's time to hit the books. The book cast a spell on me and refused to let me set it down. Ben likes books about baseball. Okay, the majority of you chose C. That is correct, because a book is not going to cast a spell on someone and not let them set it down, is it? No. Hyperbole. We've talked about this, but it's been a long time. A hyperbole is an extreme exaggeration. I've told you 1,000,000 times. Really? Do you think it was 1,000,000 times?
No.
Okay. I've told you 1,000,000 times. Do not try dangerous stunts on your skateboard. Another example we've used is, well, I haven't looked to see. I'm not going to say it yet. It might be the next slide. No. It's raining cats and dogs. Okay, I'm so hungry, I could eat a horse. We've talked about those before. All right, so let's look at these. Dad sounds like a saw when he sleeps. He has been sleeping forever. Bill got up on the wrong side of the bed today. The bed is calling my name. This one's a little tricky. Some of them sound like they could work, but there's one that is a true hyperbole. Do you think it's A, Dad sounds like a saw when he sleeps? B, he has been sleeping forever? C, Bill got up on the wrong side of the bed today? Or D, the bed is calling my name? Okay, remember what you chose. Let's look at this. He has been sleeping forever. Could you really sleep forever?
No.
Or is that a complete exaggeration? Yes. Okay, my dad sounds like a saw when he sleeps. That is a simile. But why is that one a simile? They're comparing Dad to a saw. But what makes it a simile, Reese?
That is like in
Yeah, it's using like to compare Dad to the saw. Okay. We haven't talked about this example yet. Bill got up on the wrong side of the bed today. But we have talked about this kind. The bed is calling my name. It's saying that the bed can talk. So what type of figurative language or literary device is that one? Natalia?
Is it a letter?
No, because they aren't starting with the same letter or the same sound. Do you remember?
It's just kind of, I know what it is, but like the word, like it's where it comes a lot.
Yeah. Do you remember the name of it?
Personification.
Is that what you were thinking? Personification. Exactly. All right, idiom. An idiom is a common saying with a meaning completely different from its dictionary meaning. It's time to hit the road. Let's go hit it. What does that mean? It's time to hit the road. Raylin?
Going on, like, going somewhere?
Yeah, like it's time to go, right? It's time to get going. Okay, let's look at these. At the last moment, Jake got cold feet and decided not to ask Bella to dance. B. My feet are as cold as a block of ice. C. If I have to wait outside for the bus, I am going to freeze to death. Or D. The thin ice crackled when I stepped on it. Which one is the idiom? Remember, the meaning is completely different. You know, the meaning of the words is completely different than like if you were to look up those words in a dictionary. So which one do you think is the idiom here? A, B. If you're not sure, just take a guess. And then we'll talk about it. Okay, let's see which one. A is the idiom because Jake got cold feet when he decided not to ask Bella to dance. Would he really get cold feet? Do you know what that means? If you get cold feet?
Do you get nervous?
You get nervous. You don't want to do that. Okay? My feet are as cold as a block of ice. What literary device or figurative language is B? Natalia?
Simile.
It's a simile because it uses as to compare feet to the ice. If I have to wait outside for the bus, I am going to freeze to death. It's the one that starts with an H. Does anybody remember that? The one that started with an H? Hyperbole. The thin ice crackled when I stepped on it. Onomatopoeia. That crackled right there tells us that one's onomatopoeia. Okay, so let's practice. Just as musicians need to practice their skills to make beautiful music, writers must do the same to make great sentences and stories. My parents are going to kill me when they see my report card. Is that an example of a simile, a metaphor, an idiom, a hyperbole, or personification? My parents are going to kill me. Is that an exaggeration?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you remember which one of those is an exaggeration? Because your parents probably aren't going to kill you. They might not be happy, but they're not going to kill you.
Attention teachers and staff, please excuse this interruption. We are having internet issues. I just talked with Mr. Manley. Him and Jeremy Delgado, they are working to resolve the issue. As soon as I have an update, I will make an announcement. Thanks, everyone.
Okay. Good thing this isn't connected to, or these slides aren't connected to the internet. All right, so what do you think it is? A, B, An exaggeration is a hyperbole. Let's try another one. The thirsty tomato plant gulped up the rainwater. Think about this. Is a tomato plant going to go, drinking its water? So what is that one? Remember, this is the one where it's given like human qualities. Is that a simile?
No.
A metaphor?
No.
Is it comparing two things at all? An idiom?
No.
A hyperbole?
No.
Personification?
Yes.
You think so?
Yeah.
You bet your next treat on it?
Yes. 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 Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Majority says yes. Okay, let's see. Whew. It was personification. Because tomato plants don't really gulp water like a person would, right? That would be kind of creepy.
Yeah, it was.
All right, you should see her jump. She is a kangaroo.
I have it. Oh, yeah.
A simile, A. A metaphor, B. An idiom, C.
How about my next one?
A hyperbole, D. Personification, E. Show me your choice.
Yes.
Why is that a metaphor? What is it doing, Lucas?
It's comparing a girl to a kangaroo.
Right, it's comparing a girl jumping to a kangaroo. Don't let the cat out of the bag. Which one do you think it is? Alliteration, personification, onomatopoeia, simile, idiom. Ooh, everybody's going with the same one this time. It is an idiom. Because it doesn't really mean that there's a cat in a bag, does it?
No.
I mean, it could.
What does that mean? Don't let the cat out of the bag then. If they're not meaning, oh, there's a cat in that bag, go let it out. What does that mean? Are you raising your hand, Reese? What does it mean? Don't tell that secret. The race car zoomed around the track. Does this contain alliteration, personification, onomatopoeia, simile, idiom? I'm seeing a majority answer there again of onomatopoeia. Let's see what it is. Maybe. It's not letting me click it. There we go. It is onomatopoeia. What's the word in there that says, oh, that's onomatopoeia in that example? Raylan? Zoomed. And what is it that zoomed?
A race.
Yeah, the race car. Melissa is as sweet as candy. Is that alliteration, personification, onomatopoeia, simile, or idiom? I'm seeing the majority of one answer, but some other things. This is a simile because it's comparing Melissa to Candy using the word as. She is as sweet as Candy. All right. Which of the following sentences contains a simile? Remember, a simile compares two things using like or as. Sheila looks like her mom. I like pizza and pop. She is almost as fast as her brother. That shirt is bright like the sun. They're using like and as in all of those sentences. Do you think you know the one that's
Yes.
a true simile?
Yep.
A, B, not 4, B, C, or D? Seeing some different answers. Let's see what it is and then we'll talk about it. Okay, why is this not a simile? She looks like her mom. Are they, stop messing please. Are they comparing her and her mom? Or are they just making a statement? Okay. I like pizza and pop.
No.
Am I being compared to pizza and pop?
No.
No. She is almost as fast as her brother? No, because they're not comparing the two. That shirt is bright like the sun.
Yes.
What are they comparing? The shirt and the sun. Using the word like. All right. Phyllis found 5 photographs. Alliteration, personification, onomatopoeia, a simile, an idiom. Phyllis found 5 photographs. They're trying to trick you on this one. A, B, C, D, E. Okay. They tried to trick you. This is actually alliteration. Doesn't start with the same letter, but it starts with the same sound. Phyllis found 5 photographs.
That was so hard. They tricked me.
The bacon sizzled in the pan. So A, B, C, D, or E. Majority, like I think everybody. What are you showing me, Reese? Okay. Onomatopoeia. Because what's the sound word that they're using? Sizzled. She has 1,000,000 pencils in her desk. Metaphor, personification, onomatopoeia, alliteration, hyperbole. Don't let people see what you choose, because we have some people not using their own brain. An exaggeration? Is that an exaggeration?
Yeah.
Could you really have 1,000,000 pencils in your desk? Okay, so which one of those is an exaggeration? A hyperbole is an exaggeration.
I was one above that.
Lexi likes lots of licorice. Metaphor, simile, onomatopoeia, alliteration, hyperbole.
I know what this is, I just forgot.
Metaphor, simile, onomatopoeia, alliteration, hyperbole. Okay. It is a alliteration because they almost all start with ooh, that ooh sound, right?
And then it was just
Mhm. Okay, now we're looking for the one that contains an idiom. She is a simmering pot about to boil over. She's going to blow her top. She is as angry as a mama bear protecting her cubs. Madison was mad at her mom for mentioning the mistake. So remember, an idiom is when it has a completely different meaning than like the words being used. Remember, like the don't let the cat out of the bag? That was I think our most recent idiom that we used. Don't get an idiom and a hyperbole confused. A hyperbole is a complete exaggeration. So which one do you think is the idiom? A, she is a simmering pot about to boil over. B, she's going to blow her top. C, she is as angry as a mama bear protecting her cubs. Or D, Madison was mad at her mom for mentioning the mistake. Show me what you're thinking. Oh, there's not an E? Why did I put E up? I'm used to that. All right, let's see what it is. She's going to blow her top. Okay, now she's not really going to blow her top. What does that mean? She's going to blow her top. What do you think, Lucas? Yeah, she's going to get really mad. Dad says that he is a night owl. Is that a metaphor, personification, onomatopoeia, alliteration, or hyperbole? Dad says that he is a night owl. A, B, C, D, E. Show me what you're thinking. Got a couple different things. It's a metaphor because Dad is comparing himself to what?
An
owl. Uh-oh, you are in hot water, said Dan. Simile, onomatopoeia, personification, idiom, hyperbole. You are in hot water. Show me what you're thinking. It's an idiom because it doesn't really mean that you are in hot water, does it? What does it mean to be in hot water, though, as used as an idiom like this? When he says, uh-oh, you are in hot water. It means what, Reese?
Like when they're kind of not tied up, but they can't get out or something.
Kind of a little tiny bit, maybe.
Like you are in danger.
Means you're in trouble. If you're in hot water, you're in trouble.
I thought
That's what I was going.
Okay, let's do one more. She is like a computer. She knows everything. Is that a simile, hyperbole, personification, metaphor, or simile and hyperbole? She is like a computer. She knows everything. So do you think it's A, a simile, B, a hyperbole, C, personification, D, metaphor, or E, simile and hyperbole? All right, let's check it out. It's both. Look at the first sentence. She is like a computer. They're comparing her to a computer using the word like. She knows everything. Is that an exaggeration? Does anybody know everything? No. So that makes it a hyperbole there. All right. Here's what I want you to do. Get out your reading packet from yesterday. The
test one kind of thing. It's already reading.
this one. We had like 2 more stories to read. These go together as we answer the rest of the questions in this. Okay, down at the bottom of this page it says page 11, so make sure that you see that it is indeed page 11. Says the next 2 passages are paired. Read the first passage and then read the second passage. The first passage is called Safe Slumber. Do you know what slumber means?
Like sleepover.
Sleeping. Slumber means to sleep, yes. All right. The second passage is called Where Do Animals Sleep? So they both have to do with what? Sleeping. But let's take a look at the questions. So question 11 asks, how is the information organized in paragraph 4 of Safe Slumber? is it a descriptive paragraph? Is it a description? Is it in sequence? Remember, so like the first thing, the second thing, the third thing. So like in order of how things happened. Is it a cause and effect? You know, where because this happened, this was the result? Or is it a compare and contrast where they're showing what's the same and what's different? Question 12 says, based on the suffix, remember a suffix is added to the end of a word. Based on the suffix able, what is the meaning of comfortable? Question 13, which word is a synonym? Circle that, please. Synonym. Synonyms are words that mean the same or the opposite?
Same.
The same. Which word is a synonym for snoozes as used in safe slumber? And then question 14 on the next page. This question has two parts. Answer part A and then answer part B. Part A is, what's the main idea? What's the whole thing about in where do animals sleep? And then for part B, it says select two details. Circle two, please. Select two details that support that main idea. Question 15 says, based on the chart in where do animals sleep, which animals need the same amount of sleep each day? Okay, friends, for question 15, they're talking about this chart right here. Okay? So you're going to use that chart to help you answer question 15. All right, then look at the back page. Question 16 says, choose whether each idea is supported by information in safe slumber, where do animals sleep, or both passages. Record the answers on the answer document. So here's what you're going to do. Do you see this chart? You're going to put an X or a check mark. For part A there, it says some insects have special ways of blending in. Is that information from the story Safe Slumber? Where do animals sleep? Or is that talked about in both stories? If it's only in one of those stories, you're just going to put an X or a check mark underneath the column that story is. But if it's talked about in both of those stories, where should you put your X or your check mark? Underneath the both category, right? Then you'll do the same thing for B. Sooty terns are able to sleep while flying. You have to you can go back into the stories to see. But if it's only in Safe Slumber, you would put a check or an X there. All right. And then C, chimpanzees build nests in trees. And then the last one. What makes both passages nonfiction? So they are nonfiction, both of them. But which one of these makes them both nonfiction? Okay, that they teach important lessons, that they are written using paragraphs, that they include facts about animal sleep, that both passages tell a story about sleeping animals. Which one of those tells us that they're non-fiction? Okay, for this part, we'll work through that